Welcome back. I'm so glad you stopped by today. We are going to make tomato soup. And who doesn't love them a bowl of warm, steamy tomato soup? I cannot wait to share this recipe with you. When I think of tomato soup, I think of my childhood. I think of a snow day, and bless our kids' hearts, they'll never know the joy of a snow day. Now they have this e-learning stuff. But I just remember watching the television, waiting for my school system's name to pop up, and when it did, man, it was complete joy at my house. But anyway, my mom on snow days, it seemed like, would make tomato soup and grilled cheese. I mean, what a perfect combination, right? So, let me tell you how we make our tomato soup. So I wanted to show you how easily the skins come off these tomatoes. Like I said, I froze them and then I let them unthaw. So let me just show you. You just pop it out of the bag, and I do cut the core out of it and then throw it in the bag and let it freeze and let nature take its course and work its magic. So I just want to show you, look how easy this is peeling off. Now I do save my skins because I give them to my chickens. It's the whole circle of life thing. I give them tomato skins, they give me eggs, right? So I'm just going to do this with the rest of my tomatoes. And I mean, honestly, some of them are just falling apart as I'm taking them out of the bag. So I'm just going to continue with this, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll talk about the rest of the recipe. Okay, now that I got the tomatoes out of their skins, and I will tell you, I use this method when I'm canning, when I make salsa. It just makes things so much easier. Instead of blanching a tomato, you just throw them in that freezer, take them out, let them unthaw, and they just slide right out of the skin. And then you don't burn your fingers as you're doing it, right? So there is about 10 Roma tomatoes in here, and they were medium size or good size Romas. And then we're going to use onion in this recipe. We'll use a half a cup of onion. We have 4 cloves of garlic. And then for the spices, I have a half a tablespoon of salt. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. So that's the only spices that I really put in this because I want it pretty basic and I want it to taste like a tomato soup. Now at the end I may add just a little bit of basil just to give it a little zest and grown-up taste, but I'm telling you, you don't need the basil if you don't have it, okay? And then I have 1 cup of chicken broth, and I used, because I didn't have any chicken broth, I used 1 cup of warm water, and I used the granulated chicken bouillon, and I just put a teaspoon and a half of that in my mason jar here. And then we will use a 1/4 cup of flour, a half a stick of butter, and we have a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now what we're going to do is add these first couple ingredients and let it actually cook down, and then once it cooks down we will make a roux and add the roux to the pot. All right, you all, here we go. I'm going to add my tomatoes to the pot, and there is some juice involved in it, which is good. I'm going to put the onion. Remember, that's a half a cup of onion. And then we have 4 cloves of garlic. Oh, one wanted to stick. He didn't want to go. Here's our spices. We have the salt, the black pepper, and the red pepper flakes. And we have our cup of broth. And so now we're just going to let this all cook together and marry together so we can get all those lovely tastes. Okay, we're going to let the tomatoes cook down, and then we'll let it go for about 30 to 35 minutes. I just want the garlic and the onion to be soft because we will use an immersion blender to blend it all together. Hey girl, welcome back. While these tomatoes cooked down, Dolly and I thought this might be a good time to chit chat. So we decided it would be tea time with Brandy and Dolly. What I thought I would talk about today was how this she shed came about. So we built this apartment for my parents, and they lived in my backyard, and I took care of them for about 3 years. Unfortunately, both of my parents had dementia. My dad recently passed on, and my mom is to the point now where she can't live by herself. So every time I would come back to this space, it was a super sad space for me. It would make me miss my parents. It just was not positive and happy. So I thought about what I could do to change the vibe in this space and the things that make me happy. I mean, obviously, my family and my kids are the things that make me the happiest, but I was trying to change this space. So I thought, I love me some Dolly, and I like to cook. So why not put those two things together? And that's how this all came about. I wanted this space for my friends and family and for you to come and visit and feel comfortable at it. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I do, and I want you to come visit often. Okay, you all, while the tomatoes finish cooking down, we're going to make a roux to add to the tomato soup. So we're going to take that half a stick of butter. We're going to put it on, about medium heat. Oh. And we will add the butter to the pan. We're going to let that butter melt down, and then now that the butter is melted, I went ahead and added some flour. I'm going to add the last little bit. I'm going to mix it in. As you can see, you want it nice and creamy. Now I'm just going to take my emulsifying blender, and I'm going to put it down in there. All right, here we go. Let's start emulsifying. If you can see this. Now we're going to add the roux that we created to the emulsified tomatoes. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness. So I went ahead and I turned the stove back on, and I put it on about, medium heat. So about 4 or 5 if you have an electric stove. All right, let's get that we want it all in there. We don't want to waste any goodness. Okay, so we're just gonna stir this up. It looks so good. I can't wait to wrap my lips around this. So it's almost finished. I'm just going to let it all kind of marry together, which will only take a couple minutes. And then guess what? We get to try this, and I cannot wait. I almost forgot to add the sugar. So let's go ahead and add the sugar. This helps cut the acid, and it just adds an element of sweetness to the mixture. Oh man, this will be done here shortly. All right, you all, guess what time it is? It's taste test time. It's my favorite part of the day. So, I don't know if you can see this, but it's so rich and so creamy. Oh man, here we go. Wow. That is so delicious. Man, it's so good it makes you want to cuss. I cannot wait for you to try this recipe. And what would make it even better is a grilled cheese. So I think I might have to make myself one. But this is amazing. I can't wait for you to try it. So make sure you like, share, comment, and visit my YouTube channel. Hey girl, it's Brandy's backyard.